nuevamente, estamos con Paul Jensen. Paul, we were speaking about maybe our passion in our generation that came from film, and we're moving to new formats, new narratives, new strategies to speak to the public. Can you tell me a little bit of how it was your experience going from film to video game to machinima to all these new multimedia and multi-narrative perspectives?
Yeah, well, while teaching at Vancouver Film School in film and writing, and being very successful, the school is incredible experiences there. They decided to open up a new department about, I guess, maybe six years ago or so, game design program, and the head of game design, Dave Warfield, who used to be, he was a co-founder of EA Electronic Arts. He basically said, we need some storytelling instructors to come in here and teach the video game students good storytelling. And it also helped that I love video games as well. I grew up playing video games, and in the 90s in particular, there were some really remarkable video games that were pushing the boundaries of the art form, games like Myst and Riven. And so I was all over it, and when I went to started the game design program, I've seen it evolve since the GD01s, the first group, and now we're on the GD26s, and it's been a remarkable and successful program. And so I came from a storytelling point of view, focusing on interactive narrative, and the biggest challenge with interactive narrative is that plot works really well in movies, but plot is not for the game designer to control, but plot is for the player to control. So your job as a game designer, as a game writer, a storyteller in game design, is to find a balance between strong narrative and giving the player the illusion that they make a difference. The choices they make define the plot. So it's kind of a conundrum. It's a little bit of a contradiction, but so that's the tug of war of giving them good story, but giving them freedom to choose what they want to do. And that's been sort of the main goal for me in the game design program. And as we grow more and more advanced with technology and more avenues with exploring narrative, machinima became a big part of that. And what machinima is, in the simplest ways, is taking three art forms and combining them together. So you have filmmaking, animation, and game design, and combining those three. And it's what you're doing is you're taking a 3D environment in a game like Grand Theft Auto or Skyrim or Halo, and you're using that world to make a little movie in. So it's almost like having an old Hollywood studio lot. You know, you have sets, you have actors, the characters in the game, the NPCs, the non-player characters, and you use that environment to tell a little story, a 5-minute story. And I remember reading an interview or article in 2001 by Roger Ebert, of all people, labeling machinima as a new legitimate art form. And that it's remarkable how, first of all, how cheap it is, because you just use the game world, the tool set of the game. And it's also, you can just create these machinimas and put them on machinima.com and submit them at film festivals and that sort of thing and get a lot of attention. So it's a great avenue for young students to explore the art and to get noticed and basically master sort of three elements: animation, game design, and filmmaking. So it's an exciting and new art form that is popping up everywhere in music videos, and you know, big Hollywood filmmakers like Steven Spielberg uses it, the Unreal Machinima, for his special effects in his movies. So it's an exciting time.
There's something, maybe we can explore this part. Students, when they get to media or communication or cinema in schools, they try to learn how to write a script. And they try to focus on narrative or plot line, development of characters, how this architectural world made for video game expands these possibilities or these difficulties for the students. This, let's say this architecture, this design of levels and freedom and possibilities, how it works in a classroom, how they feel themselves challenged to work with these environments.
Yeah, one thing that in the game design program we have is we have streaming, where students focus on their main interest. So if their main interest is level design, then they'll focus on that. If their main interest is art, they go there. If their main interest is storytelling and writing, they go there. And they can take elements from all the courses, but it's all about specializing in something. And with storytelling and writing and in a game world, we do allow for a lot of freedom for the student, their point of view. It comes down to trying to give the player an emotionally fulfilling experience of some sort. And that can be frightening, horrific, it can be exhilarating, action-packed, it can be emotional, move them to tears, or comedic, laugh, but it's all about tapping into those fundamental ideas and images that audiences respond to. So as an instructor, I just try to steer the students to let them explore their imaginations and come up with something that is hopefully unique enough and has potential for a kind of an epic game world.
One small question before we go to the cut. New generations see it that way. They see matching or video games as art forms. What happens when you see people that are older, maybe 40, 50, 60 years old, how they interact with this kind of technologies, what they think about it?
Yeah, well, it's a good question, because there's no doubt that the younger generation, and including myself, we see these games as art forms, without a doubt, because there's so many artistic elements to the game and to the gaming world. But at the same time, I really understand the older generation's point of view, because in comparison to film, is over 100 years old. Games are relatively young in comparison. They're 30, 40 years approximately, and games still have a long ways to go in terms of matching the sophistication of cinema. For example, where is our Schindler's List in video games? So we're still trying to look for that in the gaming world, but I think it's a matter of time.
We'll come back. Thank you.